right, so we're gonna move to the second part of this lecture. It's called process. So in anything, you can have a great product, you could be a great person. If your process is off, it don't even matter. Like, process can be your consistency, process can be your communication, process can be your transparency, process can be, your work ethic, like how much work you actually put into it. Process can be you mastering, your craft to a certain level. And process could also be your presentation, like the way you present yourself. All of those things go into like what I like to consider one of probably the most important parts of a business is the process. It's Chick-fil-A versus them long ass lines at Popeyes. Anybody went to Popeyes on Lee Street? That shit is ignorant. It's ignorant. Why don't they just adapt the Chick-fil-A method? You wait, Zaxby's on MLK, I waited 45 minutes one time. It's crazy. It's a difference in the process. Food is great at both places, but the process. I don't think Chick-fil-A has the best food, but their process is unbeatable. It's unmatched. Their customer service and all that. So assessing your process is as critical as your talent and as critical as your personality and your persona. So I think the first step in process is knowing what you're working towards and knowing what your formula is. Knowing what is the blueprint that you're actually following. So many people to this day can't tell you what's next. What you working on next? I'm just going with the wind. That's like literally driving with no GPS. It's like, what you mean? Even if you don't have the big goal, you gotta at least know, like, I'm working towards positioning myself to do this. And I know here's a baby steps, and maybe there's a big step that I gotta take, but I'm working towards something. You have to learn what the process and what the formula was. When I first started my career, and I was working with Metro and I was working with Young Scooter, I had no idea what the formula or process I was doing. I'm gonna be very honest with you all. That's why I don't do half of the stuff I used to do. When last time y'all see me shoot a music video? I don't do music videos like that, but that's what I was doing back then. I was just doing whatever I thought needed to be done, and I wasn't really living in like what I wanted in my purpose and trying to find ways to position myself to do more of what I wanted to do. I was doing whatever you called me to do, I was doing it. I was running to it. You wanted me to do marketing, I'm doing marketing. You want me to do music videos, I'm doing music videos. Vlogs, I'm vlogging. I tour managed for Metro on his first tour. I'm tour manager now. Like, what you want me to do? I was so thirsty, but without a purpose. I didn't really know what direction I was going into. And that led me to a lot of like dead ends, like a lot of positions where I thought, oh, this is gonna work for me, I'm gonna go do this. No. This is gonna work for me, I'm gonna do this. No, because I didn't really have a vision, or I wasn't really working towards anything. It wasn't until 2015 I went on tour with Metro Boomin, Young Thug, Travis Scott, the Rodeo Tour, 2015. I was the only cameraman for Travis and Metro. Thug had BLB at that time. I don't know if y'all remember BLB. Shot a lot of really amazing Thug videos. At that time, like I said, I didn't have the formula. I just was going with the wind. I was working. I was trying to figure it out. That tour opened my eyes because that was the first time I got to witness the formula that worked for rap artists be truly applied to someone that was technically behind the scenes. And I got to see it put into action. I got to see Metro Boomin become a superstar. I got to go to concerts and see this producer who just had a producer's tag walk in front of the stage and the building erupted as if he was Thug or Travis Scott. Now, that had happened before, don't get it twisted. Mike Will did it a little before. He didn't really take it to that level, but he did it before. Timbaland, Dr. Dre, a few other producers, but a lot of them had to actually get on the mic to like make their presence felt. Like Metro didn't. Like it was just beats. You still have never heard his voice on a track, not even a skit. Like it was just beats. So for me, when I got with Metro, to backstory to that, I was working with Young Scooter and Gucci Mane, 2012. 2013, they both got locked up. So my whole movement stopped when they got locked up. I came to Atlanta and was like, what am I gonna do now? Like, I don't have nothing, I don't know what's happening. I had another reset. That's when I got with Metro, and me and him built something together. I took what I saw though with Young Scooter and certain principles I saw working with an artist that went from here to there. Relationships, the game plan, how he went to the radio stations, how he presented himself, how he had certain brand elements. If you know Young Scooter used to have the American flag bandana, like he had certain things that I was paying attention to, like, man, they see that American flag and they know you without seeing your face. Like, you go to shows and people have American flag on, they don't even know what that means. Like, they want to believe in something, they want to be a part of something. And Metro had an amazing vision in himself as well. He knew a little bit of the formula as well. When we came together and I taught him some things that I learned from being around other artists and things that he learned from his vision and his career, we basically attempted to put the music artist persona and formula onto Metro Boomin and see if it'll work. Like, when we were working together, we were shooting our own music videos. At that time, producers weren't doing that. Metro would produce a song for artists and then have me come and shoot the video right then. We weren't waiting for artists to tell us this is gonna be the single. And so many producers still do that to this day. It's like, I think I got one coming out on Thug new album. You think or you know, you gotta go force the issue. You gotta go shoot the video. You gotta add value. You gotta bring value. And when we were doing that with Metro, our formula was, I'm gonna put you in the video next to him. So you're gonna be standing right next to him in the video. You're gonna have vlogs every time you're in the studio and you're gonna have your face to these beats. So when they see Thug and they love Thug, they're gonna continue to see your face. When they see Future, when they see Migos, they're gonna continue to see your face. We're gonna do photo shoots. Your Instagram's gonna be popping, like you're an artist. Metro's always had fire photos on his Instagram. He's always been a part of photography. It's like, you're gonna get dressed in the BAPE and all that, and we're gonna do photo shoot of you. And that was the positioning that we did really early on. For me, I got to see it work for Young Scooter, 1,500 to 35,000. The day he got locked up, he got 35,000 in Miami. That was unheard of from an independent artist getting that per show. I then, after him, went with Metro, went from Metro making beats in the dorm room to us traveling the world on stage, rodeo tour and beyond. I watched that formula. 2015, when I got off the rodeo tour, I remember I was in, I think it was like Denver, Colorado, or Phoenix. I walked across the stage before the show even started, just going from one side of the stage to the next. I heard my name screamed like multiple times. Tripped me out. I was like, what in the world? Y'all know me? Like, it gave me that little bit of like, oh, this could work for me too. Imagine if I turned around and just looked and stood in my glory of what I'm doing. Oh, I can apply a brand to this too. And they might know my face and not just the video work. What if it worked? I saw it work for Metro. I saw it work for Scooter. What if it worked for me? Now that formula that I went home after that rodeo tour and developed is the same formula. It's just having trends. It's the same formula that everybody does in this world. You got famous doctors, nurses, teachers, lawyers. Like, it's the principle of putting a face to the work in your craft that you do and branding yourself as an individual, not only just the work that you do and the value you provide from a work standpoint, but yourself as an individual. Now you see it all day on the internet. It's all types of famous people, and you're like, what do? I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a surgeon. There's famous surgeons now. It's because they started to take ownership of their work and put a face to it, create content around it, do interviews, position themselves in these type of ways. When I came home in 2015, there wasn't photographers doing that. It wasn't photographers positioning a brand like that. They were more so just trying to get to the next artist or next whatever, to the next job. I started coming on set with a cameraman behind me. It's a trained cameraman. Like, it's me shooting and somebody shooting us. And I'm in the picture, like I'm in it. I started creating vlogs. I started putting together my events. My events, I was looking at it was my touring. It was my shows. That's me touring. I'm gonna do a gallery. That's me showing my work. That's me performing. I started to apply all those same principles. The same way Metro would go and say, I got a new single with the Migos coming out to the radio station. I start calling them same radio people, Stewie Rock, Jay Nix, Fly Guy DC. Hey, you know I just did the Gucci cover. I'm trying to pull up and talk about it. It was unheard of, but they was like, fuck it. Like, we need more things to talk about. I did the same thing with the internet. I started to hit Complex, Fader. Y'all want to run stories on celebrities all day. I have the same exclusive content stories. I can get you exclusive photos. I could premiere this or that. I started doing vlogs, premiering it with Complex. The same way artists would do a song and premiere with this radio station, I started to do that same formula, and I started to tell my story. And then you started to see alliances. When I would do a photo shoot with Lil Yachty, I didn't just do the shoot and walk away. My cameraman, Keenan at the time, who would be with me, would take, get a photo of me and Yachty. I started to show up to set with clothes on. You know what I mean? Like actually dressing to my sets and not just like, oh, I'm just a photographer, I'm just looking like whatever. I started to do that. Then I started to think about how can I get my name out there more. I started to actually barter services for people that could do bigger things for me. I started getting good with like the DJs at Magic. This before I had a studio here. I used to know the DJs at Magic just because I would just fuck with people. Next thing you know, I'll be walking to Magic and nobody could barely afford my way in the door and they saying, Cam Kirk in the building. It's just relationships. Once people start hearing that, who's Cam Kirk? He's a rapper? No, I'm a photographer. What I learned how to finesse it and use that same formula. If you look at my career to this day, this is my time to brag. I've done more brand deals than probably any rapper you could think of in Atlanta, probably in almost the world. I work with every brand that comes to play. I have brick and mortar business. I probably got more businesses than most rappers, like actually that built up. Like I do way more than most of them are able to do. And that's because I've taken a formula that they were able to do, but I also had a clean face to it. I became the guy you can work with that you ain't gotta worry about getting locked up tomorrow. I'm gonna be honest, that's just the truth nature of where my brand lies in Atlanta. I filled a gap. Every commercial entity wants hip hop, but they scared of hip hop. I gave them hip hop in a form that they can understand, a form that they can articulate. You know, I'm still a Morehouse graduate, but I'll give you hip hop. And my brand can go corporate world straight to the hood. You know, I can go straight to the neighborhoods, any one of them, and I'm gonna know people in there and I can relate and speak to them. The other day, one of my employees called me the rapper whisperer or something like that. I was like, because I was able to communicate with like a trap artist at a level that no other person in the room could. It was like a bond, like they know me. I'm one of them, in a sense, but I'm also able to position my brand. And a lot of that came from identifying my formula. So if you ever want to know what my formula is, and you ever wanted to question what moves or could predict what I'm doing next, my formula is I'm presenting myself as, I don't like to say a rapper anymore. Now I'm presenting myself as a celebrity, as the biggest celebrity. I'm selling celebrity. That's the formula that I do. And I think that's the formula a lot of successful people in this day and age are doing. They're finding ways to sell celebrity. Whatever it is they do, fashion designers, clothing brands, they're adding names to it and they're selling celebrity. And that's the formula that works for me. That may not work for everybody. I'm not saying that's the only formula out there. That's my formula, and once I identified it, it's very easy to know my next move. It's easy. So when I started selling celebrity, 2015, I threw the Trap God exhibit. You know what I mean? I had a relationship from World Star Hip Hop from working with all the artists that they would shoot their videos, they would post it. I started feeding World Star my videos because they know they wanted exclusives when I had a rapper stuff. I would feed them my videos and they would post it because of relationships. And I started to use the same avenues and channels that rappers did for myself. I did the Trap God exhibit. When I came home from Trap God exhibit, I knew the next celebrity thing I needed was billboards. I started putting rappers on billboards and putting my name right next to them, called the Day 4 exhibit. Once I did that, I said, man, I need a space. I need a place you can go to. And it's like, I'm at Cam Kirk's. I need to be bigger than me. Cam Kirk Studios. Did that for a while. You know, one of my most recent moves, I started my own label, Collective Gallery. I signed photographers, just like Quavo, whoever could sign rappers. I signed photographers. I'm on the same formula. QC the label, Collective Gallery. We the same. Like I'm on that same formula. So if you want to predict my next move, you know, I'll give y'all that one. What's next on here? That's putting a face to the work. I How many guys know about PR?
Relations.
Public relations. How many guys actually apply PR to what it is that you do?
I'm in school for it right now in Clark.
Okay. Some of you all do. I'm going to tell you this, all of you all should. Big blogs, small blogs, whoever's going to listen to you, whoever's going to want to hear your story, you need to take advantage of that, and you need to do that. So I'll say that to this day, that's what really changed a lot of my life was just PR. Like working with writers, establishing relationships with writers, with magazine editors. You can find these people who write online. It's very easy to find writers. But telling my story, joining podcasts, doing whatever the case may be, it's very critical that whatever business that you have some form of PR department, marketing department is actually letting people know about who you are. We all have a story to tell. We all have something that's very unique, individualistic that can go. And it's important that you own your story and you're willing to tell it. So that's a part of the process that really worked for me as well, is just telling my story and putting myself out there, you hearing about it. Even if sometimes you do it yourself, set up a camera, a microphone, whatever, tell your own story. Do a little vlog or whatever about yourself. Let people kind of get insight to see what it is that you do and the magic that you create, and release that through PR. There are a ton of aspiring, talk about working laterally, there are a ton of aspiring writers that need stories to tell. They need stories to pitch. They need angles to tell. They need people that they can write about. It might be the latest project you worked on. It might be the latest photo shoot you did. It might be whatever it is that you're working on, an innovative idea. It might be a hot take that you just have about a concept, and you can position yourself to have your name out there a little bit more. I would say PR, very important. Also, taking ownership of your work, your craft, whatever it is you do. I talked earlier about my formula and how I position myself to be a celebrity. Well, a lot of that is also, I don't wait on no one to tell the world I created something. You're gonna know I created it because I'm gonna tell people. I'm gonna show people and I'm gonna scream it. I'm my own, I don't need nobody to tag me on no photo on Instagram for y'all to know I took a photo. I don't. I'm gonna find a way to get creative and show the world that I took that photo. Instagram is the biggest tool and weapon in the world. It's actually insane the amount of stuff you can do on Instagram. I'll give y'all one of the things I used to do. If I knew I just did a photo of the Migos, and I knew, damn, I got this photo of Migos about to come out in a couple days, you can literally go to the Migos Instagram, you can go to their followers, they're gonna have millions, and you can spend an hour a day liking all their followers, the real pages. You can spend an hour a day. Let's say you do that for a week straight. 3 liking, bringing them to your page. It only sets the stage for when you drop your Migos photo that they're gonna be like, oh, this the guy that be shooting the Migos. I wanna follow him. They might have more Migos content for me. They might have more of this for me. That can apply to someone as big as Migos, or also the model that you just shot yesterday. She may have 5,000 followers, even easier to do. I'm 3 liking some of her followers. So when I post this work, the people that are gonna be on my page now are familiar with her and would recognize that face and want to engage with me. Oh, you did my homegirl. That's what's up. I ain't saying you gotta follow everybody. I know how sensitive we are to the follow counts going up, but a like is easier. It's super easy now because they don't have that other tab on Instagram that used to snitch on you when you was liking too many photos and random shit. That used to be when I first got on Instagram. You can click the followers link and it would show you what everybody's been liking. It just would snitch on you a lot. That don't even exist no more. So now it's like you can go crazy. No one knows what you've been liking and what you've been engaging with. But that's one little quick way that you can be your own marketing and PR, and you can be your own whatever. It's just a simple tactic. It's using that platform. All of Migos fans are right there on Instagram. All of whoever you working with fans, the brand you just shot yesterday, their supporters and fans are right there on Instagram. It's so easy for you to go, mirror or steal their fan base or marry their fan base to what it is, the work that you're creating and doing. And there's so many other gems like that you can do on social media, LinkedIn or whatever, that are just easy ways to gain traction or energy on the work that you're doing. You can also find who the plug is that got such and such this look. It's so easy. People post it on Instagram all day. If you want to know who wrote an article about me on Hypebeast or whatever, I probably tag the person in the post. It's just a matter, do you want to go see that, or do you want to just click Hypebeast page where it got 10 million people, or do you want to click the one tag on that photo that only got 300 and probably realize that's probably the one that made the shit happen because he tagged that person for a reason. There are a lot of hidden gems on Instagram. You just got to learn how to use it for more than just entertainment, but more for like strategy and a process to reach your goal and your audience in different ways. So I'll leave you guys with that gem as well. Also, I think the last one I'll say on this one, when we get into process, this is probably the most important thing, is maintaining a level of professionalism. Customer service, professionalism at all times. No matter what the environment, no matter how unprofessional the environment is. I've been around rappers that were 5-10 hours late, and I still had to be very professional in that moment to get the job done. I couldn't be like, well, shit, you late too, bro, what up? Nah, I had to still get the job done because of the bigger picture at place. I've been around rappers who, they got the drink, they got the weed, they got everything around you, and it's like, yeah, you want some? Nah, I'm here to work. I have to do that first. I'll never forget to this day when I was working with Future for a short stint, his manager assistant would tell me, like, no matter what, don't drink the alcohol. Don't drink alcohol. And I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. She's like, nah, y'all gonna be out, and he's gonna literally say, yo, Ken, let's get a drink, bro. And the second you do that, I'm gonna get a phone call, and you're gonna be getting sent back home. Like, people do things like that, and they hold you to a higher standard than you would ever even know. And it's so easy, I'm speaking specifically to my industry, but in the entrepreneurial world, to think that this is life without rules, life without boundaries. We just can do what we want to do and however we want to do it, that you forget that there's still rules of engagement. That same thing can apply to your consistency in your craft, your work, the quality of what you put out there. If you set up and you tell people you're going to drop something every week or once to this or do that, you got to live up to that process and you got to do it. That's how people don't think you the boy who cried wolf and like, man, he say he going to do some shit, but he don't ever do it. He just talking. Lead with the work, lead with that process. For my photographers, this is beyond photographers. This is just whatever work you do. Even if you're a clothing designer, a brand owner, whatever, deliver your work and take pride in delivering your work on time and fast. Pay attention to the trends of life. Everybody wants shit fast nowadays. Fast, speed. Everybody wants shit at the speed of light nowadays. You have to continue to develop with that trend of knowing that it's a microwave era. You have to find ways to be efficient and make your brand or your work product happen faster than ever without compromising too much quality. Do you know how many sets I've been on? And I'll have all this equipment and taking these amazing ass photos just for the artist to say, hey, my assistant, hey, take this, slap this one right here on my phone for me. And that shit ends up on Instagram. It beat me. iPhone, no nothing, no edit, and it's like they want it now. They fiend for it now. And I use the analogy, it's just like going to a restaurant. When you first walk into that restaurant, you willing to buy anything on that menu. You salivating, you hungry. If a restaurant comes out quick, sometimes that's better than the quality of the food. It's like, that shit happened quick, you excited. Your brain tells you this shit is amazing, this restaurant great, service is amazing, I got the food quick. Let that amazing ass food come out an hour later. I ain't even hungry no more, bro. I'm off this. You ready to leave. You ready to call the manager out. The food could be amazing. You like, I don't even want this shit no more. The same can apply to your product or what you're delivering. I used to kill the music industry because I was like less than 24-hour turnaround. I was like damn near like fast food for what I did. I did a shoot for you, you was getting it that day. I wouldn't leave the studio until you got your photos. I was in the presence with you was gonna get that delivery right then. If I went to your show and shot your concert, by the time I went home, I was still in the mode of working. I'm in work mode. I go home, I shoot the concert, I edit the photos, I deliver it. I beat everybody to WorldStar when I first started my career because I would go home, edit, and had a video in WorldStar's email by 6 a.m. when whoever posts on their team is up, ready to see what the latest. I was beating everything. I was TMZ. That's the formula. That shit is even more relevant to this day. Whatever your brand is, whatever your product is, how can you be more efficient? How can you move fast? And I'm gonna give you guys the biggest move fast trend. If y'all ain't paying attention to it, wake up. AI. AI is here. It's just the way our parents felt when the internet first started, how scared they was, and I don't like that. I don't like cell phones. It's here. It's making you move light speed at light years ahead. It's here. It's here. I can sit here right now. I'll even do this with whoever wants to see it. I can sit here right now as I'm talking to you guys, give AI a prompt that says, write me a business plan for Kirk Studios. It will do it in 2 minutes, a full-fledged business plan. I can ask AI right now to teach me anything. It will teach me and give you information in 2 minutes. I fear that social media, and I can say this because we're in a room of us, I fear that they feed black people fear tactics when it comes to technology and advancements in technology to keep us stupid. I'm just being as honest and upfront with it as possible. When we hear about AI, we're hearing about Drake's voice being mimicked on songs or how it could be used to this and this and that. And they're not teaching you how people are writing whole books using ChatGPT and selling a book on Amazon. Literally. Like, they're doing everything you can imagine on it. And the corporations that we look up to have had versions of ChatGPT for 20 years. How do you think Elon Musk was able to fire 10, 20,000 Twitter employees? And did you ever see a Twitter skip a beat? They've been had automation technology that can do the work of 10 people at one time. This is the first time that it's available to us at a very affordable, reasonable cost. I think ChatGPT is $20. The shit is a genius in your pocket. It's crazier than Google. And it's accurate. And it can accelerate your workflow at a high level. It can give you ideas. I've been on this platform. I'll give you a realistic example. I was on this platform. I had to do a collaboration with LVRN, the record label. I had a brand partnership, and they were pressing me like, yo, how are you and LVRN gonna work together? I gotta come up with an event idea I can do. I set 2 of my employees down in front of me. I'm like, fuck it, y'all come up with some ideas. I can't think right now. As I'm telling them my idea, I'm like, yo, I need an idea for how me, our brand, can work with LVRN, an event. Give me some ideas, like start talking to me. As I say it to them, it clicks to me like, I'm just asking ChatGPT too. By the time they said, I had typed the same words that I said to them. Kirk and LVRN are looking to come together for an event. I asked for 20 ways that we can work together in an event. By the time they could spit out one word, it gave me 20 ideas. And I just sat there and I just waited to see what they came up with. And they said, what about this? It was on the list. What about this? It was on the list. The idea we ran with was one off the list that they couldn't even come up with. It couldn't come up with it faster. It's not a knock to my team. It's not a knock to no one else. I told them in that moment, why didn't you go to ChatGPT when I told you that and give me 20 ideas? You know how much of a genius I would have thought you were if somebody asked you one thing and you can spit back an answer in 2 seconds? You're gonna look crazy, especially right now while no one knows what is the technology you're using to come up with that. It's insane, and it accelerates your workflow and process. And there are AI tools for every form of business. There are AI for fashion design, AI for logo creation, there are AI for writing, your website writing or descriptions on your site. If you're selling clothes, that shit should look amazing. If you're doing YouTube, your descriptions on your YouTube can be written by AI. It's gonna tell you exactly what keywords to use based off the topic of your show. SEO on your website, search engine optimization, it can do all of that. ChatGPT is just one, it's hundreds of them out there, and they're building and they're moving fast with it. Don't get left behind, because you're gonna see somebody accelerate you and run laps around you because they're just using their phone. They're just using what technology you could be using. So I definitely, when we talk about processes, AI, don't run from it, don't be afraid of it. I do believe it's gonna take people's jobs. They're predicting 300 million jobs to be taken in the next 10 years. So the jobs that's going to remain are going to be people that understand the technology, know how to use it, and can apply it to their work. Because these kids are going to do it way faster than we can do it. Even younger kids, they're going to be already on that. They're going to know how to do everything. So don't be so resistant to it. I know it's scary. I know it can feel robotic and inhumane and what's happening. But just know, big corporations been using this technology for the last however long. And they just now allowing us to get a little piece of the pie, so use it.